We are discussing networking mistakes that can sabotage your success and how to avoid those mistakes. I see people make the same mistakes over and over again that cost them jobs, business opportunities, and long term business relationships. And believe it or not, you may be making one of these mistakes without realizing it. But don't worry, in today's video, I've got you covered. Today, we're discussing the top 50 video, top 50 career tips. Let me correct that. Top 50 career tips that will help you succeed in any role that you may choose. So, whether you're in your first job or looking for your next job, or you just want to move up in your current company, then these tips will give you the edge you need to succeed. So, today it's career tip number 49. Career tip number 49 are the three critical networking mistakes that you're making and how to avoid them. So, the first mistake, you are networking in a way that does not work for you. Let me explain that. So often, and I had this conversation literally with someone yesterday. So often we tend to buy into the traditional notions of networking. You have to go to large happy hours, industry conferences, big events, make small talk with strangers, and you're absolutely uncomfortable doing that. I would say that is a traditional notion of networking that may not work for you. If you love large crowds and you love the happy hours, go for it. But as many of you reach out to me and say, it's just not comfortable for you, so you're not showing up in your best way. When I say make sure that you're networking in a way that works for you, if you're someone who's better off in a one-on-one setting, then ask someone to grab a cup of coffee. That is perfectly acceptable way of networking. If you're someone who prefers, hey, can we just grab 15 minutes over Zoom? Zoom is a great way to get on someone's schedule and network with someone you want to meet who may be really busy and may not have time to meet for coffee. My point is, you have tools available to you to make networking work for you. Take advantage of those. Mistake number 2, and this one I'm going to try not to get on my soapbox about because it just happened again this week. But mistake number 2 is you don't leverage your current network. Now, that manifests itself in 2 different ways. First, if you're not leveraging the network you have, you're missing opportunities. These are people that you already know. People that you've already networked with who maybe you've met in a previous job, maybe they're friends. You have an established network. But the second manifestation of that, like this week, I met with a group of folks, and I always give my cell number and my email and tell everybody, reach out to me. I'm happy to be a resource for you, whether it's now or 6 months from now. And in a group of 8, one person reached out. And that happens every time I speak to a group of people. You get my cell number, my email, less than 3 will reach out to me. So you're leaving opportunities on the table for networking. When someone says, reach out to me, reach out to them, whether it's now or a few months from now. But if you're not leveraging your current network, then you're missing an opportunity. I have a coaching client who I asked if they're looking for a new job. And I asked, well, have you reached out to your current network to let them know that you're looking? And the person said, well, no, why would I? And I said, well, because if you don't tell people you're looking, how are they supposed to know? So that second mistake of not leveraging your current network is either the network you already have or the network that you can build with opportunities that people are offering you, but you're not taking them up on the opportunity to connect with them further. The third mistake is you're underestimating the value of the connection. Again, I got this question this week when I was speaking to a group, and the question was, well, what do you say to people that you don't know? How do you establish that connection? Do I even need a connection, or can I just, talk to them for a few minutes and be done? And the answer is, if you're underestimating the value of making a connection, then you're underestimating the value of the long-term relationship that comes with that connection. You can find a point of reference to speak to anyone about. If you're in those large events, ask someone, hey, what are you doing here? Do you work for the organization, or what's your connection to the group? If you're in a one-on-one setting, do your homework before you network with them so that you have an icebreaker question or something you want to ask them about. So often, what I was asked about on Monday in my job as a lobbyist, my day job, I will find a point of reference. I can walk in someone's office and immediately scan the room and I can find something to talk about. They're going to have a bobblehead, or they're going to have a picture, or they're going to have something that helps you establish that connection. Don't underestimate the value of connection. If you are transactional in your networking, you're undervaluing you're undervaluing the value of the connection. It's about getting to know the person, not what they can do for you and not what business you need to do with them right now. Establish the connection, then those other points can come later. So those are the three critical networking mistakes that everyone makes, but you absolutely must avoid them because they are sabotaging your success. Thanks for watching video number 49. I'm counting down the top 50 career tips you need to succeed in any role. So the next video will be here. I'm going to link to the playlist here. But if you click on my face, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you get the entire video series that I'll be releasing on the top 50 career tips you need to succeed. All right, thanks folks for being here this morning. Thanks for letting me get through my three mistakes. I almost got on my soapbox. I didn't, but let me see who's here with us this morning, who's joining us. Eileen, hey, thanks for being here. Network is all about self-confidence. You should start within your comfort zone and expand from there. Yeah, and Eileen, what I can't figure out, and Eileen, I'm so grateful for your comments and insights and the dialogue we have on these calls. What I can't figure out is why we make it so hard. Why do we make networking so hard? We think we have to do what everybody else is doing, not what works for us. So, Eileen, I appreciate that you're right. Start within your comfort zone and then go from there. And I literally have had two conversations this week about that very topic. And I'm surprised that people truly want to start with the uncomfortable part versus the comfortable part. So I appreciate that comment. Hey, good morning, Melissa. Thanks for joining. Yes, get that mindset out of fear, undervaluing connections. Exactly. Yeah, Melissa, I'm glad you keyed in on the undervaluing connections piece, because the conversation that I was having on Monday was more about, in the job sense, obviously, people looking for jobs, wanting to establish jobs. And so often, at least in my business, but I think everybody falls into this mistake, is you just want to hurry up and get through the conversation, or you just want to make the ask of what they can do for you. It just becomes so transactional versus the relationship that you're building for the long term. It's not about the 30-minute coffee, or it's not about the quick conversation you're having at the happy hour. It's about building that connection for the long term. So let me give you an example. When I worked for Dunkin' Donuts, I often was called the donut lady, right? Because when I went to offices on Capitol Hill, I would ask people, hey, what's your favorite donut? And it was an immediate icebreaker that always started a conversation. When I worked for the restaurant industry as a whole, I would ask anybody I met, what's your favorite restaurant? Immediate icebreaker. But now that I'm in a multi-client environment, I immediately find those points of connection. I kind of follow the same rule. It's not about being transactional and getting business done. It's about, will they remember me when this conversation is over? That's the goal of connection. And that is why we undervalue connection. Hey, good morning, Alexandra. In this digital age, it is so easy to network. Yes, it is. It is as easy as clicking connect with someone on LinkedIn or that. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned the LinkedIn piece, Alexandra, because you're so right. And yet, those tools are more available now, to your point, in this digital age, yet we are so reluctant to take advantage of them. LinkedIn is gold. It's just gold for reaching out, for connecting with people, but also for saying, hey, I saw we have some connections in common. I'd love to jump on a Zoom call and have a conversation. So you're right, Alexandra, in this digital age, networking is so easy, but we continue to fall into the trap. We have to do it the way it's always been done, not the way that works for us. So that is a great comment. Melissa said, yes, that's important as well. So I love this dialogue this morning of making networking work for you. It is the number one mistake. It's a number one mistake that everyone makes. So make networking work for you, and you're going to be more successful at it and more comfortable and establishing those connections that years down the road will become valuable connections for you. So I appreciate the comments from Melissa and Alexandra and Eileen for being here. I know a lot of you will comment afterwards because you watch the replays of these videos. I'm grateful for your comments as well. And like Alexandra said, reach out on LinkedIn. A lot of you send me messages after these videos are over, asking questions, seeking clarity, wanting to connect, and I'm so grateful that you continue to reach out. And I encourage you, as you're watching this on the replay, it'll be on LinkedIn. Jump over to YouTube to watch the entire video series. And I look forward absolutely to counting down these top career tips for you. And Mr. Prouty has joined us this morning, and Chris says networking is essential. Your network is one of your most important career assets. Chris, in fact, you're exactly right. I'd say top three career assets, as a matter of fact. And that's where the valuing versus undervaluing the connection comes into play. So I think you're spot on, Chris, that networking is essential, and we have to approach it as though those connections are essential as well. So listen, thanks for joining me this morning. I am going to continue to count down the top 50 career tips. Stay tuned to the next video for number 48, and I look forward to seeing you soon.